866-34-TRUTH. All right, we're going to switch gears and take some calls on a broader number of biblical theological issues. Carlos in Atlanta, thanks for calling the Line of Fire.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Brown, for taking my call. Yes, I have a question about the Trinity, because the way I understand it is God is a person, and some of the, for example, statements of faith out there, like the Moody Bible Institute's statement of faith, actually define God as a person who has revealed himself in three persons and yet one God. And then you have also the matter that if you consider the phrase he himself throughout the Bible, it's always used for a person.
Yeah, any time we really contemplate who God is, you short-circuit somewhere or another. It's not a contradictory reality. You might see the idea of three in one as contradictory.
Well, you just called God a who, right? So you believe God is an individual.
Yeah, so let's start there. Let's not worry about the word person, but let's say who versus what. God is absolutely a who in Scripture. We are created in His image. All right? So we have our personhood, our who-ness, because it comes from Him. And it says in Ephesians 3 that all fatherhood derives its name from God the Father. He's revealed as Father. So we start with Him being a who, and we recognize that we are created in His image.
And God is the Father. He's not Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Oh, no. Well, hang on. God is primarily identified in Scripture as the Father and the Creator. We also see, though, that He is seen and unseen.
So can you just help me and point me to one verse where it says...
Surely. All right, tell you what.
God is Father,
hang on. We got a break. We'll look at a few verses when we come back. All right?
Here again is Dr. Michael Brown.
I want to continue my conversation with Carlos in Atlanta. You have to realize, as a Jewish person constantly dealing with rabbis about this, I've had to really examine the Scriptures carefully as I could. And what I felt I had to do was start going through the whole Old Testament, the Tanakh, as carefully as I could and see how it revealed God there. Mm-hmm. And then from there, come to the New Testament. So, of course, in John chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. So here it identifies the Word as God. The best way to convey what the Greek says, what God was, the Word was. He's with God, and yet it says the Word was God. Then as you go down, the Word became flesh and made His dwelling among us. Who was that? That was the Son. That was Jesus, right? God so loved the world that He...
But Jesus is what the Word became.
Yes, Jesus is the Word made flesh, exactly.
Right.
But this is the Son. So the question is, who is the Son? Was the Son someone created by the Father? Or is the Son part of this divine who? It says in verse 18, no one has ever seen God, but God, the one and only, who is at the Father's side, has made Him known. If you go to Hebrews chapter 1, it gives us this picture. In short, Carlos, as I meditate on this and look at it, I recognize there's one God and only one God, yet He's complex in His unity, and He has made Himself known to us as Father, Son, and Spirit. And yet you have interesting verses like 1 Corinthians 15, that when everything has been subject to the Son, He will then be subject to the Father, so that God may be all in all. Look, I'm captive
but you're
to
still
what Scripture
calling Him
says.
a He. That's where I'm
because
trying to understand.
we're communicating in human language. Let me ask you this: is God exclusively masculine? Does God have no feminine characteristics?
Well, the Bible describes Him in a masculine sense, so I'll go with what the Bible says.
But not exclusively, though. In other words, there are biblical references where God says that He's more compassionate than a woman with her nursing child. But my point is, okay, Genesis 1, God creates us in His image, right? And it says male and female He created. That's in His image. So the image of God is fully expressed in male, female, and yet we refer to God as He. That's because we're using human language. But Carlos, tell you what, I'm very happy to answer your questions. It seems you're kind of set in some of your thinking here.
Well, I'm trying to understand how you can call a triune God
because he's
single
one
individual.
God
Right.
who's complex